Alaska.
Hi,
So
how you
what's your
doing?
flag? Good. What's your flag today?
That's my. It's. I used to like have these massive rainbow flags outside my house when I lived in Daya. It was weird. Like before, it was weird. I suppose it was before it was a thing. You know, the rainbow thing. It wasn't really a thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was way before that. And then yeah, it's just weird. I just used to just because it's quite a conservative village, you know. So
Oh, good. Good. I'm almost getting to your level. Not quite. No
I
one can do it like you.
yeah, ghost
That
flag.
was mad doing that video the other night. It was mad.
What was the name
It's
of the
good
artist?
fun. The artist, his music sounds very like I don't even know he's still don't know what he's called. He signed to a record label. Is it Sub Dub or something or something? Have you heard of
Subdub? No.
Half Dub or something? It's something Dub, the record label he's signed to. And lovely guys, sweet guys. His music's quite like Boards of Canada.
Oh, I love them. Where's the Canada? Brilliant.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it because it's a good tune. It's a good tune. It's only 2 minutes 12,
Yeah,
and they must
tracks are really short these days, man. Album tracks are all, even if you buy like a mixtape or whatever you call it, it's always 2 minutes. It's
two
weird.
minutes 12. I suppose the great best music, some of the best music's under 3 minutes, isn't it? Some of the great songs that are under 3 minutes.
Yeah, and that was the formula, wasn't it? 3.5 was almost too long.
Yeah. Welcome to the working week and all that. Think about it. William, it was really nothing. Remember Velocity Carol and all that? I used to all these songs, the short songs I used to always put at the end of
Yeah.
compilation tapes.
Velocity Girl's probably less than 2.5 minutes in it.
Yeah, I think it's only 1 minute 51 or something. It might even be
That's
less
one
than two.
verse. I really like that song.
Yeah, they never topped Velocity Girl, did they?
Nah,
Primal Scream.
no.
Probably not. And amongst all that. And anything higher than the sun, you used to put that on, you used to mix that a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, I
That's
just
a
see
good
that Andy Weatherhall. I don't really think they knew much about what was happening at that point. According to
no.
no, but maybe apparently they
No,
put
I
on.
agree with you. No, I agree with you. I don't think they knew a lot about it.
Nah,
He
it's
was doing it after
Andy
they'd left the
Weatherhall.
studio.
It's a genius, man. Really,
He was a genius.
totally.
Do you still mix? Still mix
I
stuff
mean,
and you got decks?
yeah. I mean, I bought a vinyl record the other week, and because I was buying one for, I bought Ugo the Eminem album on
Oh
vinyl,
yeah,
and I got myself this floating points thing,
right.
which is like Pharaoh Saunders with the London Philharmonic Orchestra. But I'm not sure. I can't figure out if it's an original recording or if it's something new. Because Pharaoh Saunders must have died a long time ago.
Yeah, and how old is the was that an album, a vinyl album?
It's a vinyl album, and they're doing like they're touring all the festivals, so it must be like a new project maybe. Because I always
Right.
got floating points, and it's kind of nice. But then there's a saxophone solo, and it's just vomit producing. You know, no offense. I don't. I'm not like. I suppose I'm not. I'm a bit sax phobic. I suppose you would call it.
Yeah. I was listening to what kind of podcast? There was some podcast or something I was listening to or somebody was talking about and said, I just had one stipulation, no saxophone
Yeah,
about their music.
it's one of you. I don't agree with Liam Gallagher that much, but what he says about saxophones is really good.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
But see when you think about it and then I loved Madness. Like there was there was a Get It On, they do a theme every week, every night. And one of the themes was a brass section in records, the best brass section records. So you think you got to get Dexys in there, Gino and all that, or
Mhm.
like what's the other one? There, my dear, or something. Da, 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 da,
Yeah,
da, da.
that's more trumpet and
There's
trombone.
more trumpet. But they said what we're not allowing tonight on the theme is any just solo saxes,
Uh-huh.
right? And then about half an hour later, and Sarah says, "You got to get a life. You got to go over yourself." 'Cause then they played, and it's it's a song I absolutely love, right? Night Boat to Cairo,
Yeah, that's
right? But Night Boat to Cairo is only a saxophone. But it's the way he plays it, isn't it? It doesn't sound like
Yeah,
a saxophone.
yeah, it's brilliant.
He
Man,
is brilliant, and Lee Thompson was a brilliant. He was his. You think about it, all the sax bits and Madness, they don't make you cringe like other saxes.
it's baritone, but which is different. It's not got
Right,
that sleazy, creepy vibe. I shouldn't. I better not. I don't know, but it's a cliche. Is quite. There's a reason for the cliche. I mean, it's very phallic for a start, right?
right. Whereas the baritone, isn't it? It's a big kind of. It's
It's
like it's almost like the kind of the plumbing in a, isn't it? The plumbing in a kind of
uh,
a sink. A baritone saxophone. It feels a wee. You're right. It's like it's much chunkier. It's a lot less, almost like square, almost, isn't it? A wee bit.
bass. It's really bass as well, I suppose.
Yeah, because she's, at the start of Nightboat to Cairo, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's
But
just
it
like
still
a
is,
fog, like a foghorn.
it is, he does it really well. It's amazing. It's
Yeah, I can't
amazing.
think of many. There's a sax solo that with a guy called Log Coxon that I really like, and
Oh,
that's
yeah,
Kevin Ayers song. It's really good. But there's not many.
right,
And
right.
that's like a clarinet kind of sax as well. It's not like a normal
Yeah.
like straight.
What's the one that, if I'm like to like get, Raymond's the wee thing, can they play? I like when he plays that, like that's less kind of typical saxophone,
Right?
that it's almost like, as you say, it's just a long, thin thing. It doesn't, there's no bends in it. What
Yeah,
is
that's the
that?
one that Log Coxon was playing. I don't know what it's called. If it's alto or soprano or I don't even know. Alto is it? I don't know.
Right? It might be an alto sax then.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So we're forgiven alto sax and we're forgiven baritone sax. It's just the sax in the middle.
I love Supreme. I would forgive that as well because it's great. John Coltrane, probably a lot of what he does is
Yeah, that's true.
was beyond the
But
cliche.
what you think it's like the sax you hate is like Careless Whisper. Wham, Careless
I
Whisper.
really like Careless Whisper, but when the sax
I
comes in,
know
it's annoying. It's annoying. It kind of spoils the song a lot. It spoils a
it
lot of songs.
does.
A
It
lot of
does.
songs are wasted when the sax comes in. I'm like, because I put them on mixtapes and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that song had a sax on it, and it's kind of destroys the whole tape.
Yeah, it's the same. It's like when you think about the worst, the kind of excesses of kind of saxophone solos, you think of Spandau Ballet, don't you?
Yeah, and so true is a
That was
good song as well. So true is
true. It's a good song.
oh, the sax bit and wastes the whole song.
It does.
But it's probably the same with like I love the Gorillas, but I hate Damon Albarn. I hate his voice, so he spoils basically every single Gorillaz song, which is really good. But then when his voice comes in, I get annoyed by it. Even
All right.
even like the Good, the Bad, and the Queen, they're brilliant. The bass, the drums, but his voice isn't so annoying on that because I think he changes it a little bit. But I just find it
Right.
annoying. I think he's quite an annoying guy. So his voice.
Look, I think he's a true artist. I think he's a genuine true artist. And I don't care what you say. Melancholy Hill. It's just an amazing song.
Yeah, yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I think I've just gone by stuff I've heard as well, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that night we saw them in Motherwell Civic. That's shutting down Motherwell Civic Centre. Remember that mad night?
Game, that was a brilliant. I don't remember much about the night. I remember the music was brilliant and Paul and the drums, the
Yeah,
drummer, like, gee, what was it? Legend of drums, wasn't it? I don't know what his name was.
it
Some
was.
Afro funk guy.
Was that guy? Was that guy Alan? Thingy Alan? What's his name?
Aye.
Alan?
He died recently. He was in the
He
Gorillaz.
died recently.
We got it's Tony Allen, yeah.
Tony Allen. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing when you see these people live. Like
But do you know
Simone
what?
as well, because you don't think Simone's such a genius bass player, but then you see him live
I
and
know.
it's like he's
See the
really
way they move. See the way they move on
good.
stage as well.
And he's got
It's
that
just,
authentic dub bass. The bass is like, whoa, whoa. And it's simple as well. He doesn't show off. He just plays it right.
I know, and he just looks good. Sometimes you just can't go with the fact some people look good.
And he still
So,
looks good now, man. He's like 70.
they just look good.
He's still
Just look good. But you know why we can't remember much about that night? We
no,
thought, let's go large rather than go home. So we
right, okay.
decided instead of drinking double Jack Daniels and Coke, we were drinking triple Jack Daniels and Cokes. I remember.
Just me and you.
No, who else was Nigel there that night?
It probably is.
Somebody met us, but I was running to because I was late. I was running to meet you, if you whether you remember. I was running to meet you, and I was at Partick Station, and I was running around the corner, and a guy was running to go somewhere else, and he bashed into me, and he cut all my eye. Do you remember
That's
that?
right. I have vaguely,
See,
vaguely.
I've still got a scar. Still got a scar.
Oh, aye, it was a
Still,
bleeding gushing.
it was bleeding, gushing. Remember, the police were on the train, and I thought they'll think we've been in a fight because there was a football game at Motherwell that night. We were getting the train out to Motherwell
Yeah.
at the same time as all these football fans, and my eye was just gushing. It was. I remember it was a wee black fella, and I felt so bad about it because he felt so because it's one of those things. It's like boxers. Once it hits it,
It's
it just
going in
there
there,
must be
yeah,
certain
that
points.
spot, remember, I
Yeah,
just brings to mind was the Palestine rapper there because there's a song on the album which got a rap in Palestine. It's a Palestinian rapper, and it's a really good song. It stands out because Damon Albarn's not on it, obviously. It's just
right.
and or maybe it's the B side of
They
one
had
of
a couple of albums. They had a couple of albums, but the good, the bad, and the
the
Queen.
other one wasn't so bad. The little puppet thing that was promoting it.
Yeah,
It was funny. Hugo quite liked
yeah.
it.
That was a great gig.
I mean, gigs
Just
in
so
they're always good, like Paisley Town Hall and
I know,
anywhere that's used
I know,
to.
and you get the feeling that they feed off the fact that it's not a normal circuit.
It's just even just the quality of the sound in these places is better somehow. I don't know why.
I suppose so.
The acoustics and everything.
I suppose we've maybe. I wonder if that's been kind of sacrificed.
How's
We
like
went to
talking about acoustics?
Lloyd Cole's. Lloyd Cole was good. We met. I'll be honest. We must have been. John, the driver took ill. He was coming from Edinburgh. The guy driver took ill in the train and blocked the line, so it took
Hmm.
him more than 2 hours because they had to get him off the train, but they didn't have another driver to
Wow.
to drive it away. So the line was blocked, so he had to get off and then go the long way, your way, the Uddingston way and all that.
Okay.
So we missed the first 7 songs. One of the songs we missed was Undressed. I love that song.
Don't
Do you
know.
know that song?
Nah, I mean, I just Rattlesnakes is one of these albums. Is
Right. Some of his solo stuff's really good.
yeah, I didn't really follow it, man.
And it was two of the commotions were playing with them, the bass player and
Oh,
because I
Donaghy,
thought, who are these two old guys? This guy,
Lawton.
Cowan, is it? And somebody, is it
Accordion?
Neil Cowan?
Was he playing the accordion?
Wasn't he playing the accordion? But I think he does play. He played Brand New Friend. What was the one I told you? Wouldn't he? He refused to play Lost Weekend.
How come?
Don't know what he said. He said he started up so there was this woman right beside me, so I'm shouting, "Last Weekend!" Right, and he took it for a bit, and then he said, "Look, I'm just going to be honest with you here. I'm not playing Lost Weekend." So
Okay.
then they missed a song, and she shouted, "Last Weekend!" He said, "Look, I'm going to be really, really honest with you here. We don't know how to play it.
Oh, we
We
don't.
haven't rehearsed it. We don't know how to play it." He said it doesn't fit in because I suppose, it's a bit more upbeat and all that than
Yes, yes.
yeah. But do you know what? I was 3 pints in. See if I'd have been one more pint in, I was going to shout out, "Play what you want to play."
Aye, it's funny.
I'm desperate to shout that at a concert. Play
I
whatever you
remember
want to play.
whenever I've been to see Nick Cave, they always shout for like, what's the one?
Oh, Red Right Hand or something.
No, no, it's the oh, fuck, I can even forget what it is, man. What is it?
Is it
Mercy,
an old,
is it Mercy Seat? They all shout for
the
Mercy,
Mercy Seat, right?
and he never plays it.
You never, fair enough. Like, it's like,
Uh,
I'm happy to be in your hands. You play what you want to play.
I mean,
I
yeah.
don't want, sometimes there's certain songs I'd like to, but if you don't want to play it, then if you don't feel it, then you'll not necessarily give a good rendition it.
But I feel differently about heckling. I think that's part of the beauty of going to see a band in Glasgow, which I missed. Glasgow's the few places where everybody shouts, and there's a bit of backwards and forwards with the audience, but most places don't have that. I suppose they
Yeah.
could always get annoying drunk guy, which I've been guilty of plenty of times, but ruining.
What
He's
was that? What was
like,
that you
"I've
shouted to
started
the
that.
thrills?
I've
What was that you
started."
shouted to the thrills?
I don't know. Can't remember.
It was funny, and they misheard it about 7 times. and they just didn't know what to do with what you were shouting. I think I do remember, but I don't want to say it on here if you want
No,
to
but
use
I
it.
went to see Feist and Tommy Burns died that day, so I was just shouting about Tommy Burns the whole gig. And I've spoiled Vaseline's gigs and Sean Lennon. I shouted non-stop as well. But it's just because I love it, you know.
Yeah, we went to see in the Grand Old Opry. That was a good night as well. King Creosote,
Oh
and
yeah,
this guy kept shouting for a song. I can't remember what the song he kept shouting for.
that's
Sarah, what was it?
annoying. That's
But
annoying.
eventually they had to eject him.
All right, because it's boring and annoying just to keep saying the same thing, right? I suppose.
Exactly.
I've tried
Exactly.
like Evan Dando. I shouted Free Nelson Mandela. I shouted it once and everybody was confused, but I think it kind of worked because
Right, right.
it was
Do you
like
know,
everybody shouted Free Palestine, so I shouted that, and
uh,
it's the same thing, you know.
Lloyd Cole told a brilliant story about a heckler the other night. Said, he was introducing us. This is one of the great lines. He said he was introducing a song, right? And how he's sardonic and all that. And he said, "Ah,
Yeah.
this is from my poorest performing in terms of sales. This is from my poorest performing album, right?" He was saying as he was tuning up to play a song, and he said some guy shouted, "As yet."
It's quite a good one, right?
So obviously Lloyd Cole like that, so he's the kind of retelling the story.
Oh, he acknowledged that. Like, he acknowledged the wittiness
It
of
was funny. It was
it.
funny, aye. As yet.
Okay, I think we've used up half the time, and we've got to talk about the four things, right? So we'll quickly just sorry, just to go quickly onto Kyogo, right? Because I was I was trying to think of people that I really liked since Larson's left, and there's only a few, like Rogic is one of them that I
Yep,
really
yep,
thought was amazing. You know, Rogic was amazing, and I loved the guy, and I loved how he played, and I loved how he spoke, you know, because he's
yep.
intelligent. Kyogo as well, I just loved him as a person. I loved how he played, and he
I
probably
wrote that. I wrote a piece about that the other day. It's like
right.
I said it's an absolute thrill ride of a footballer. It's just thrilling to watch him play. And
Yeah,
players, you see so few players now play with a smile on their face. Now I understand why that is because it's such a serious business. But they have that, give you that connection that
but it is
you
entertainment.
have with yeah, you have with very few footballers these days.
I hate that expression, but it ticks all the boxes for me. And Rodgers as well was similar, but there's not many others. There's
Yeah,
plenty.
I think his sheer artistry, Rodgers, I used to always say it was like balletic, the way
Yeah,
he played.
and Maracic, but he was the same. I'm thinking of people since Larson, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'd love to know the full story about how Kyogo left because I don't think we're getting it. But
Well, I'll tell you the full story. Look,
people
because
know
I've
it.
said it on another podcast, because
Only
I've
he
spoken
knows.
to people what his contract at Celtic was 20 grand a week. The
Uh-huh.
contract offer at Rennes and Atalanta United before that last summer was 40 grand a week.
Double
This
the
is
money.
his last big payday.
Okay, there you go. So I thought I always think about personal things. I think about Brendan Rodgers, but and it was kind of weird how he left at the middle of the season. He didn't say goodbye. So there was a personal thing with Brendan Rodgers. There must have been some kind of personality thing.
No, he was annoyed that Celtic didn't accept the bid for him. £12 million it was from Atlanta United in the
And
summer.
he did down tools a little bit. We should sub to him. He
He
did
didn't down tools, but you lose a wee bit of your kind of
the,
passion for it,
the
maybe.
edge. It seemed
Yeah,
like
it's just Martin.
the edge is gone. Is that Corn?
No, no, it's
Me.
Hey, hey,
Sarah.
good.
Hi. I'm
Yeah.
fine. How are you?
I'm all right.
Nice candles, Martin.
Yeah,
You and he have got the similar beards. Bloody hell.
Oh, my beard isn't as good as
yeah.
Martin's. Never can be. Never can be. It's funny to see some of these guys, but sorry, no, carry on. This is you wanted to talk about your four pillars, your four pillars.
Well, that's Kyogo. That was good to know about Kyogo because I thought it was a personality clash with Brendan Rodgers, but probably Brendan Rodgers is just a professional guy, and I suppose that his personality is. I don't know.
Well, he works with apart from Balotelli, he can work with anybody. Rogers, because you say it's business.
He's a professional, yeah, and it's just like Ange you love because Ange is Ange, and he's so
I
much
know.
interesting when you see the interviews. It's more entertaining because you really don't know. He seems to be less professional, which is good for the entertainment side.
Yep.
Brendan's really boring. Hey, Sarah. Where are you
Sorry,
going
I'm
tonight?
going out.
The
Huh?
Bluebells. Going to see the Bluebells.
Yeah. Where?
I think it's
Do they
maybe as
fill the
much.
Barrowlands? Do they sell?
Mm.
I don't know if they will fill it. I don't know if they'll fill it.
I'm amazed that it's great that they're playing there and all that, but they've got some great songs, man. Really
They
good.
have. I hope they play all the see red guitars and all that. See these songs. Do you remember that?
I don't know that, but there's like B sides of the singles that are usually better than the A sides.
Mm.
Yeah. All I ever said. Yeah, that's another one I really
So,
like.
what's that? Some Sweet Day. They've got a song called
Some
Some.
Sweet Day. Yeah, that's one of the first songs.
Such a great song.
Martin, our darling daughter is heading to your beautiful island in May.
I thought she was going to
Okay.
Magaluf.
That's in Mallorca.
Magaluf, my God. Usually when people go to Magaluf and I'll go to meet them, they're all you don't get to see them. Yeah, they're like
Well,
yeah,
she's going with her pals, like,
yeah, that'll be funny.
so maybe you'll get to see her.
How far
Yeah,
away is Magaluf from where you are?
everywhere is 45 minutes.
Right.
Doesn't really
And
matter.
where do the most indigenous people live? Or most of the
It's
indigenous
like
population?
towns in the middle or towns that you don't
Yeah.
know. There's a few. Like,
Is there a few unspoilt kind of areas still?
aye, there's a few villages. Sporlas is one of them, but not really because most these places are just overrun with Germans.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
What were your other four? What were your other three things?
Hostages.
I was
Oh,
going to be Kyogo, hostages, miracles. Have you ever had a miracle happen to you? That's what I was, or like unexplained phenomena. Obviously, everybody's got a few,
unexplained
apart from
phenomena.
meeting each other.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty unexplained.
I'd take the credit for that.
Do you know that I interviewed and I think it's coming out tomorrow and I think it's free to air, so you'll be able to watch it. It's quite a kind of it's profound. The love she has for her parents is profound, but there's a lot of grief in there, of course. But it's Tommy Burns' daughter I've interviewed for tomorrow, right?
Oh,
And
really?
do you know that there's some two parishioners in the Diocese of Paisley have opened up they're trying to campaign. It's called the Cause for Canonization. So
Of
you
Tommy
open up the
Burns?
case for Tommy Burns.
What? Saint Tommy Burns? Wow.
Yeah, because people are saying that they must be afraid to Tommy Burns because he's that kind of guy. I suppose
You
because
should
he
definitely get a
symbolised
statue
something.
anyway. You should get a statue put up. Big
Yeah,
massive.
well, if you,
Should make it really big, like unreasonably massive, as tall as
like
this head.
like
Yeah,
the Rio stat, like all
like, yeah,
those
like
old ones.
Jesus, eh?
Wait a minute. That is, that was a kind of unexplained phenomenon. I mean, I suppose it was a weather event, but it could have happened. But when we were in Rio and we went to see that, right, we couldn't see it.
Christ the Redeemer.
Christ the Redeemer. We couldn't see it.
Google's got the Brazil strip. It's a brilliant strip.
So much fog, we couldn't see it.
And this
And we just couldn't see it.
and this group that was up there started to pray,
Yeah,
right?
so that they
Started to
could see
pray
it.
so they could see it, and all the clouds
Clouds
just
just went
just,
and
just
disappeared.
parted away. It
Well,
was a
It was amazing. It was amazing.
it was a spiritual moment.
that stuff, I believe 100% in that stuff, and I think it works if you believe it's going to work. It worked for me when Nakamura scored that free kick against Man United. I was in Barcelona outside the chapel. There's a Celtic bar downstairs. The big,
You've
whatever
got a
it's
cat
called,
as well.
Right?
the big
Noodles is
place,
You're,
to say hello.
what was it called?
the Gaudi church in Barcelona.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
went down on my knees. I was a bit pissed. I went down on my knees and started praying. I think it was close. It was one each, and Nakamura scored. Really need that goal, and
Yeah, it was
beat them. There
0-0.
was no way we were going to beat them.
But Martin, there
Works.
are studies of people who get better when they're prayed for, even when they don't know they're being prayed for.
There you go. Like
And people have done
scientific ones.
like experiment. Yes, it's
Uh-huh.
scientific experiments about it.
I mean, it's probably definitely what I think. If you believe in something, that's why placebo is working all that, probably, right?
But there's a whole thing now about people who are called manifestors. So they think of themselves in being in a different place, and then they think they're actually in that place. It's interesting. Anyway, I'm going to dry my hair.
That's called like in
Right.
the Catholic Church.
All
That's
right.
called
See you, Sarah.
bilocation. by location, you can be in two places at once.
I don't quite
Uh,
understand that.
it's just you can be in two. Apparently, Padre Pio, you remember him, the Saint Padre Pio? He had also stigmata. He bled from his wrists and all that, like Jesus and the cross.
When
But
was
he could
that?
also
In the 70s?
50 or 50, 60s, I think, aye.
Okay, so there's a like proof, like
Well, you can see footage on it, I think, in YouTube and all
no way, Patrick, what?
that. Padre Pio,
Padre Pio, so
he was a
he
monk.
stigmata. I've heard stigmata as well is amazing.
Yeah,
Do you know they prove about the shroud as well recently? The shroud of Turin's kind of been not proven, but like
yeah,
more
yeah. The dates work, aye.
than
Apparently the
that.
dates work or something.
It's unexplained how somehow the material or something's like really
Yeah, and the imprint shouldn't have been the way that it imprints or something. If it was just, if it was painted by monks, they were saying it was
yeah.
15th century or something painted by monks.
Have you seen it?
I never saw it.
Been-
I don't think I've been to Turin.
Right, that's right, it's in Turin, yeah. Because I've seen, even when I've read about it, I've seen photos, it does something special about the image and the story.
Yeah,
It's a crazy
I
story.
know. I don't think it's only shown, is it twice a week or so? I don't think it's out all the time.
Mm.
We went to
They
this.
have to keep it. Yeah.
We went to this to see the exposition of the body of St. Francis, right? Who there's two St. Francis, and one of them is in a glass cabinet. It's in Goa. It's in a big Catholic church in Goa because Goa's got quite a large Catholic community.
I've been there, I've been.
Yeah, because of the Portuguese.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because remember me and Sarah were talking about, we were supposed to go with you. Who were you going out with then when we get married? Remember the lassie? She was a lovely lassie as well. We were supposed to go to Trinidad, and
Oh,
my dad got a heart attack, so we couldn't go.
Elsa.
What was her name again?
Elsa, yeah.
Elsa.
She was.
Yeah, yeah. Did you go to Goa with her?
No, I can't remember. I went to Goa with a Greek girl. That I met in the Glasgow Uni swimming baths. Forget her name.
Right,
She was beautiful as well. But I
right.
she ended up sacking me, like not sacking me, but like you could buy Valium over there, like over the
Oh,
counter.
that's right.
So I went nuts with that because it's my favorite drug. I don't know if I
Is
should
it not just, is it a chemical cost? Does it not just knock you out? No?
Well, if you have, so I had a few vodkas for the flight because it's a horrible flight from India back
Oh,
home. I
yeah,
had a few
yeah, yeah.
vodkas, Valium, and I blacked out on the plane. And I don't know what I was. Apparently, I was being bad on the plane because I didn't even know what I'd done.
Right. Yeah, that could be a bit of an issue.
Because also planes are an issue anyway, you know. So if you mix
Yep.
the three things,
Remember, remember when we were coming back from Beijing and all that, and we were necking the vodkas and all that. We ran it. We
just
drunk the plane dry.
chain smoking and like free drink, right?
That's right, because you used to be able to smoke, and at that altitude, and it makes you whoa.
And we can. There's a few more things we could say, but we won't.
No,
On the way
no,
out, you know. On the way out.
no. I know. I don't. I definitely don't say that. That would no. That was a different one. That was when we were going to San Francisco.
So okay, that's miracles. Kyogo covered the hostage thing. I don't feel like I can't even talk about that anymore because it's overwhelming. And then what was the other one?
Miracles, hostages, Kyogo, and
Adamant. It was Adamant.
Adamant. Yeah. What's your Adamant fixation now?
It's not a fixation. It was just like the first thing that I was into when I was 6 or 7, you know. So Kings of the Welsh Frontier, because it was Kings of the Welsh
Yeah.
Frontier, and then I suppose Highland Hard Rain, Hatfill of Hollow, and then Bummed, and then after Bummed, it was completely lost. But that was like the four biggest albums, probably.
Yeah, they're four pillars that you can't go far wrong with those four, can you?
No, they're like probably.
I've been listening to Highland Hard Rain quite a lot recently. I just still can't believe it's like mostly the work of a kind of 16, 17 year old. See the lyrical depth, something else, you know. See the kind of melancholy, the kind of elegiac way. It's almost somebody sometimes reflecting in life experience, and you think, How much life experience could he have had then?
Especially in East Kilbride. It's a bit of an enigma. It's a bit unexplained because no, you don't really hear stories about when he was a kid, or it just kind of came out of nowhere, really.
He was one of those kind of boy geniuses, but wasn't he as a guitarist and that?
I don't know anything about his school life or his early life. I don't know anything about it. East Kilbride. I know he was like he was from Westwood. He probably went to a normal school. He didn't have much money, I don't think.
No, but he must have. How early was he playing the guitar and all that?
He must have.
In terms of what the kind of guitarist he was, and he played. I think you can tell, like, he kind of played. He learned kind of classical guitar, didn't he?
He
Because
plays
you can hear
Spanish
that.
a lot as well. Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, there's a kind of Spanish classical guitar influence.
Yeah, who knows, man? But I remember, well, I think it was the second concert. The first concert I went to was Flying Pickets, and then the second
All
one,
right.
which is
Was
funny.
that rock around the clock one when he said this one's called Too Much Acid? No, it's not. It's
That was
called
later
Coffee for
on,
Dinner.
man. No, I was probably 16 in that. That was 87. I'm talking about going to gigs when I was 14.
Right.
Which
They played with because I'm saying to
85?
John, the Pavilion, Lloyd Cole and them played together, didn't they? Lloyd
I
Cole
think
and Aztec
they're
Camera
the
played
same
together in
thing.
the
I remember.
Pavilion.
We went to see Lloyd Cole and it was Owen Archdeacon and what was it? Brian McClare were sitting behind us up the back.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that must have been the Pavilion one.
That was Pavilion, aye. That was like sitting turning right. You wouldn't expect to see them at gigs, you know. Or I don't know if it was definitely Brian McClare and maybe, I don't know who else.
Yeah, I'm trying to go on Archdeacon. I'd love to go those two on my podcast.
Brian McClare
Bit more.
seems quite,
Yeah, he's you seen his beard.
yeah, he's quite a cool guy. He's a dude.
He's a really cool guy. He's a really cool guy. Like, because I was looking forward to telling the story in my podcast because he asked me could we help promote his testimonial because they're playing Celtic, and could I help promote the testimonial in the Celtic View? And I said, you know what would really help promote it if you could get me an interview with Eric Cantona. And he says, Eric won't do it, right? He said, but see if you send me like 20 questions, I'll go round to his house and I'll ask him all the questions and I'll send you the transcript and you can do the interview that way. I
Wow.
went, oh, that's brilliant. That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
that man.
So I sent him the 20 questions that come back, 14 of the questions answered right, and about 12 of them were one word answers.
Wow.
I said, you're not really helping me out here.
Well, he done it.
Have you long known about Celtic? It was my fault in a way. It was unprofessional of me to ask. You never ask closed questions that you can answer yes or no to.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Because then he's just going to be like, well, I don't know this guy.
But I had to get a 900 word piece out of these like 14, 15 answers.
Are you talking about them from years ago when we played Man United?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah, I think I was at that match. That was the 89 or 90 or
Um, it was 97, I think.
okay.
That was when I first met Manny.
Okay, the photo from that was that match.
Yeah, yeah. That was that match because his
Wasn't
pal
it?
said,
Who
you
did
look like Kurt Cobain because you know what I mean? My peroxide was all kind of,
Oh, you just randomly sitting next to him, yeah?
aye. We're just sitting in the same row as Manny.
I can't remember.
And he was like,
Memory.
what a guy he is.
Is he
What a
okay?
guy he is.
He's not playing in Primal Scream anymore, and then I've not heard much about him, and I was just worried that he wasn't okay.
I think, did he lose his mum recently or something?
Not sure. I just wondered if he was okay
Yeah,
because
but he'll be a decent age now. Well, a decent age,
yeah,
just about well in his 60s, will he know?
yeah. Just wondering if he's one of the
I mean,
survivors.
I'll be 58
58,
in
man.
6 months, so
It's crazy, right? You don't even think about that. How's
I do think about, you know, like, our John will be 60 in 4 months. 60. And Thursday, it's the funerals in the same day. They died about a week apart, but they're on the same day. It's Carol's mum and Kiara's mum.
no way.
So we can't go to both because they're exactly the same time.
My God.
So you feel bad about nobody else to support, like you support like a lot of time going to funerals just as a general rule, it's about supporting the people that you know the people that they've lost. I feel. Because
Mm.
Sarah, maybe it's a Catholic thing, but Sarah said to me some funerals I've gone to and I've not known the people that have died. But I know their children
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're my friends. I've known them for 40 years. You go to support, you offer support.
I mean, yeah, the person that's passed is passed. They don't care. I mean, I mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
like they're already gone, you know. So there, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what you're going to do: is support the people that are there. And
Could you remember, and you'll be the same, you remember who came along to support you. You do, and you
yeah,
appreciate them.
definitely, yeah.
You appreciate them thinking about you.
Yeah, like I know, like Colin and Deb,
Yeah,
even like seeing James there, I was just like, hello, good Fergus, even, you know. I was like, wow.
yeah,
I've seen them, and it was 2 minutes, and then they didn't even come to the food or nothing. So, but just to see them for that 2 minutes and say it means a lot, it really does, man.
yeah. It does mean a lot, and you don't forget it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
32 years since my mum, but you still remember. Because I
Uh,
mean, I'd split up for Alison about 2 years before, but her and her mum came,
uh,
which was really big of them.
I'd always we've got 1 minute left, and it's this dreamer that I've got. Maybe you can help me with it. I've mentioned it to many girlfriends and many people, but it's very morbid, but I see it as a piece of art. I'd love to organize and pay for my whole funeral and have it exactly like to the detail before, like soon, you know. Do it before I'd love to do it soon,
Oh yeah, yeah,
as
yeah,
a
yeah.
piece of art,
A living funeral.
but
That'd be a great
actually,
idea.
and I'll pay like whatever it is, 4 or 5 grand, and it's all
That'd be
organized.
a great
The
idea.
music, the words.
But would you go, or would you need to not be
I'd
there?
be
That's the.
dead. I'd be dead.
But I thought you're having it while you're before you've
Oh
died.
no,
You've
no,
died.
it'd just all be organized and paid for. But I'd pass, you know. So it'd be a piece of art for when I'm gone, you
Oh,
know.
right, right. People do that. People do that to
I'd
every last detail. They
do
organise what
it.
what the funeral is going to be.
I'd,
I thought you meant do it while you were alive, a living funeral.
no, no, no. Just organize everything and pay for everything, and then because there's all these